Hello and welcome to Book Talks, where we talk about books, book drama, and our bookish opinion. Today we'll be discussing our January reading wrap-up. For more content from us, you can find us at Literary Liberation around the internet, and we are currently raising money for the Northern Gaza Water Fund, where there's a link below to donate. I'm your co-host Kristen. You can find me at TensTBR on all social media platforms.
And I'm your co-host Mariah, and you can find me at Hungry Rye on all social media platforms.
So this year we're trying something new. We're gonna try to do monthly wrap-ups. This is our month of January, so bear with us. It's a little gonna be probably not fully fleshed out, and hopefully by December we'll have it squared away, right?
And I mean, we can only do it so many times before we get like a rhythm. You know, we're going to become in sync. We're going to hit flow state. But we'll talk about some of the stuff. Obviously, if you want our views and more nuance, you can ask and we'll film a video, a whole podcast on it. You know?
Yeah.
Why not? And then there is some that we did read together that I'm just going to let Kristen talk about because I am recovering from influenza, so I don't have a long shelf life for my voice today, so we're gonna do the best we can. So I'm gonna let Kristen kind of carry the weight of talking about those, and that's kind of like what's gonna happen in the future too, because a lot of books we're going to have overlapped, and then I just read a lot of like other bullshit, so I tend to read a lot more.
Mariah's only hobby is reading versus I do other things in my life.
I love books.
I mean, I still love books too. I got a good number. I read 7 books this month. My average rating was 3.39 stars, and I read 1,913 pages. And the average time to finish a book was 10 days. And also, we are recording this not on the last day of January, so technically these stats could change, but I don't imagine they'll change very much for me personally.
I don't know. We still have like 30 hours left. Anything is possible.
Yeah, I don't think I am. Nothing. The only thing that'll change is I'll read more pages.
The only thing stopping you is you, man. Anything. You could get that number up to 50 if you really wanted to. Go pick up some Junie B. Jones.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. So what are your stats this month, Mariah?
Currently, it's sitting at 17 books this month. Hold on. I did make it my goal to read all of One Piece. So a lot of this is One Piece. I'm not going to talk about every single volume individually. I'm just going to talk about where I'm at the very end. Because I think it's just going to make more sense. So, you know, my average rating, though, is a 3.93. So it's a lot higher than I think it was last month. And I read 3,913 pages. I don't know if in the future we're going to end up like dividing those between like audiobooks if we want to do hours listened, or if I like take out like the manga and crunch some numbers that way so people are curious. I don't know. We're just feeding the public. I don't know what people look for. I like to see like what people read in a month, but I never get into like all of the statistics. I just know people ask me like, how do you read so much? So I don't know.
We can mention too whenever we are like talking about specific books how we consumed that book specifically. If people are curious too, and then you can see whatever have you, you know. But I don't think maybe in the future, like next month, we could put up because we do both have Storygraph and they give very great and in-depth graphs, which I know we'll both post them individually on our social medias as well if you are really curious about that. But also, if people want that next month, we could always pop up a graph of how we consumed the books.
Well,
and, like,
it might be coming
stuff
in this one because it's not getting posted until the 4th. So,
well,
I don't know.
People that
to
are
be
listening,
determined.
They know.
If you're watching, you can see
know
the
answer.
I don't know what's happening in the future. These are being talked about in like no particular order. But I'm just going to talk about the first one. I read Captive of the Horde King by Zoe Draven. I gave it a 2.5 star. Now, this Listen, I'm a connoisseur of the alien romance genre, and I am kind of out of shit to read. So I decided, I was like, oh, I'll try something new. And this one follows a young woman living in an alien settlement. Like, the humans are the aliens in this one, and they settled on this planet. But the planet, like, functions kind of like medieval, but there's also, like, these nomads, which is like the horde. They're orcs. Anyways, her younger brother violates the rules and, like, catches shit on fire because they're trying to grow crops, but they can't fucking feed themselves, which is like typical settler behavior. And then the other aliens are like, oh, we gotta take some sort of payment. She's like, I volunteer as tribute. And then she ends up becoming, like, she gets married.
Is she a concubine?
But then, like, she falls in love and all this. But they get together within, like, the first half of the book, so the other half doesn't make any sense. Well, I mean, it's a romance novel. They get together at some point, but I feel like at the halfway point, what the hell are you doing the rest of the book? It just wasn't for me. This is not my alien romance. I guess, but then I'm like, at least give me something else. Something. I just felt like their characters weren't developed super well. It was fine. I'm just not going to read the rest of them.
Okay, and the first book I read in the month of January was People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. We read this for the podcast, and this is basically just a book about a friendship of 12 years, various trips our two main characters go on, and then also navigating their complex relationship of, like, a will they, won't they, best friends to lovers trope. I reread this year because I had read it in, I want to say 2023 or 2022. Don't recall. I had to reread it because it did not devote itself to long-term memory. It's cute for what it is. I give it 3.75 stars, which is lower, I think, technically on my reread. But it was cute. Just not really my favorite Emily Henry. I do like some of her other work more. Not really life-changing. I did end up watching the movie as well. The movie, they changed a lot, and I don't think the changes in the movie were for the best. So the book is better, but the movie's still cute. And we do have a full review of this for full nuanced opinions over on our podcast
that you're listening to right now.
Yes.
I also gave it like a 3-star, if you were wondering, and our full thoughts are over there. I don't know. I guess I was expecting more because of the way people talk about it. It was fine. I don't think contemporary romance is the genre for us. I need, like, the best contemporary romance, and if this is it,
I liked the 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston, and I do like Emily Henry's other work. This one's just not my favorite one. It's cute. That's all I can say.
Next up, I read Revolting Prostitutes by Molly Smith and Juno Mack. I gave it 4.5 stars. This is written by sex workers, and it's an anti-capitalist feminist analysis of the sex work industry. It has some history. It pushes back against a lot of the misinformation that's kind of touted by radical feminists, liberal feminists too, like the whole empowerment thing, and then just, like, all the random shit, the general reactionaries, like, I'm against human trafficking. So it covers a lot of bases, and I think that this is, like, I believe I described it. It's not like feminism 101. It's like 102. So this is, like, your next step. You have, like, your groundwork laid. I think this is very important because a lot of the shit that's in here is exactly what we respond to when we see, like, radical feminists come online and say,
abolish all prostitution.
I don't know. It's some Dworkin or Catherine McKinnon line. I don't know. Which they talk about them too. So you get everything you could possibly need to set you up for success in this. So I highly recommend it.
All right. And then the next book I read was The Wager, A Tale of Shipwreck, Mutiny, and Murder by David Grann. This is a nonfiction book about a ship that crashes on the coast of South America in the middle of some war in, like, I want to say the 1600s, but don't quote me on that. And then whenever they finally, like, get off the island, all of the survivors have different accounts of the events that took place on the island they shipwrecked on. I hated this book. Mariah DNF'd this book last year, and I probably should have taken your advice on that because it's just like I think the premise sounds really interesting. I just don't think it was executed very well. I think the history of it was very boring because I couldn't even tell you what the war like. I understand it was like England was doing something in South America. I think they were having a war with Spain, but I couldn't even tell you what specific war it was. The way it was written was so like da 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 da. Like I feel like your grandpa would love this book. Your dad would love this book. I'm not either of those things, so I didn't love those. And I think honestly, you could probably just watch Yellow Jackets and it'd be more entertaining.
I remember I was free on Libby as an audiobook, and I was like, okay, I listened to it, and I was pulling weeds outside. So this was like springtime. I was like, damn, this fucking sucks. Because it sounds so cool, right? Kristen makes it sound fantastic. Like, I would eat
Well,
that
that's
up.
what it was about. But it's
Like,
just
it
like
is, but it's just not.
I
It,
mean,
you
I
know.
bet I guarantee like the old men in your life, they love it. I can guarantee that.
This is for the boys.
Literally, like it's a boy book, not for me. And I give it 2.25 stars. I don't know if they said that. So, not a
I
very high rating from me.
I read Half His Age by Jeanette McCurdy, which I got this from the Libro FM Advanced Listener program, which is really fucking cool that they approved my ability to be in it. I gave it a 4 star. I think if it was a little bit longer, I think it could have had the capacity to be a 5 star read, but I like it just a little bit less than My Dark Vanessa. And I do think this is like the My Dark Vanessa for Gen Z. Great commentary on like consumerism and what it's like to be a girl with mommy issues that's getting groomed. I think a lot of people are really gonna like it.
It's
And I'm
out
so
now.
curious when it's yeah, because it is out now. I haven't seen a lot of content. I've also haven't been scrolling as much on Book Talk, and my For You page is all fucked up ever since I lost my Chinese pie. So I don't
Yeah.
have any of like my book content. So I don't know what the people are saying, but that's my thoughts. And I'm excited to review it next month.
On the podcast. Um the next book I read was The Serviceberry Abundance and Reciprocity in the Natural World by Robin Wall Kimmerer. This is a short little nonfiction book about what a gift economy could be and what society could look like if we had a more collaborative effort in the world. I think I gave this book 4 stars. It's cute. It's really short. I think if it could have been 5 stars if it was like actually like a full novel. I think it like comes in just at 100 pages. Um but it's a really delightful little read. I think the audio I listened to it through the audiobook. And it was very short. I think it was like 3 hours if even. So you put that on 2 times speed, that's an hour and a half. That's less than a movie. Most movies these days. I really recommend it. It has great promotion of like mutual aid and how that could work in a society if you're not familiar with mutual aid. It discusses how we could have a more community focused society while also like critiquing. I think I don't remember what CEO specifically. There is one that is discussed and talked about how like they're exploiting the working class, and it's not super theory heavy or super history heavy, so I do think it's a great introduction if you're looking for intro into like left-wing work. And I think Mariah's also read this before.
Yeah, I read it like right after it had come out, and she just writes so well. I haven't read Braiding Sweetgrass though, but I did read Gathering Moss, and it was like the same way, but it was longer. Wonderful. I really like it. I think it's such a good start. I don't want to like make this episode super fucking long because I just like go on a tangent. It's great. I think if you like that, you should also read Hanif Abarakib. He has 2 different books. Like They Can't Kill Us Till They Kill Us, and then there's Always Next Year, the one about basketball in Black
Oh
Ascension. I
yes.
think you would like. I'm talking to you, Kristen. No, I mean the
Yeah,
general
I
public will
think
probably
they're
like it
on my
too, but
TBR. I think at least the You Can't Kill Us, that's the one with the wolf on the cover, right?
yeah.
Yeah, I think that's on my TBR already, which it's a never ending list, but it's there.
Ain't that the realest shit? I read Several People Are Typing by Calvin Kasulke. I think that's how you say it. I gave it 3.5 stars. I had originally bought this because I thought it was going to win the book club. It was really far ahead in the polls. So I was like, okay, sweet. And then something else ended up winning. So I ended up reading it, and it's about a man that gets sucked into his work Slack, which is, I didn't know what the hell Slack was because it just looked like Discord to me, but it's like a Discord thing for like office workers.
Yeah.
And he still has to work, and he's trying to tell people like, hey, I got sucked in the Slack. Like, can
He's
somebody
stuck in
go
the
check on my
computer.
body? I mean, I can get that report done, but yeah. So it has like this kind of like meta element. It's kind of like a critique of like the millennial condition. I liked, like, it's pretty diverse in the characters and how they like talk. I don't know. It's cute. It reads really fast, but it's not anything groundbreaking. But it is lovely. It's a nice little read, and I think Chris and I are going to properly review it later on this year.
The next book I read was Not Quite Dead Yet by Holly Jackson. This book is about Jet, a young girl who never finished anything. That's like her whole thing, is that like she postpones everything. And I think she's a college dropout and she doesn't have a steady job. But then on Halloween she gets attacked mysteriously, and her skull is like shattered in like a specific way where basically the doctor's like, hey, you're gonna have a brain aneurysm in a week and it's gonna kill you. And she's like, oh dang, so I guess I have to solve my own murder because I only have a week to live, and the cops don't do anything. Which, like, so true, Bessie, the cops don't do anything. But I think this is my 5th Holly Jackson book. I've read all of The Good Girl's Guide to Murder, and I read The Reappearance of Rachel Price. Those ones are, I like the Good Girl's Guide to Murder series a lot. The Reappearance of Rachel Price is fine, better than this. This one I gave 3 stars. I was really disappointed in this one because, first off, it won the Goodreads Choice Awards, which I haven't read anything else on that list, but I can tell you right now this book shouldn't have won that. And then I think all of Holly Jackson's main characters, like, they all blend in my head as one character. I think she can get away with it because I'm pretty sure, like, A Good Girl's Guide to Murder was, like, her first series, really. So, like, that's the first thing I read, so I didn't notice it. But then reading her 2 other books, I can see that they all kind of feel like the same character, which this character is supposed to be like 27 or something, but she acts like a teenager still. Like, she's so like stubborn and like selfish and like rude, and it's really weird to me. Like, it doesn't really feel like an adult book, except for the fact that they like cuss. Like, that's like the only thing that makes it adult, and maybe it's a little bit more graphic.
Some
but not
authors
really.
should probably just stick with writing YA. That's
Maybe.
I have a hot take. I do think there's some that can kind of just like, you should just do this because you do it well.
Yeah. I mean, I think the concept is really interesting. It's just like the execution is not what it could have been. I think there's some twists that I was like, oh, okay, I didn't necessarily expect that, but it also wasn't anything like, nothing was like jaw dropping that you kind of hope for in a thriller, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So that's that.
I also read Morning Glory Milking Farm by Siem Nascosta. I gave it 2.5 stars. This is a book that I had on a list from a couple years ago where I was like, I'll never read this. And you know what? I was right. I should listen to myself. This is weird because it's about like this millennial who graduates and can't find a like job in her field. So she sees an ad for a pharmaceutical company to go work, right? And collect samples. But the samples are, I don't know how descriptive I want to be.
Boy juice.
Look at the cover. Look at the cover. What do you think it is?
Boy juice.
Yeah. So anyways, she starts like developing a relationship with one of the clients. But like
bull,
Camber
right?
Creek, it's Minotaur.
Oh, a Minotaur. Same difference.
Yeah. It's like fairy tale Zootopia. So there's like restaurants for vampires where you can have like humans volunteer to like give blood, and like there's these, it's supposed to be like diverse, but I just didn't like how it was. And the only reason I ended up gravitating towards it is because there was that one image going around. We were like, Morning Glory Milking Farm, anti-cap. No, it wasn't. I read it.
I was trying to get me to read this, and I was like, I'm not reading that. You couldn't pay me to.
Well, at least I can say I can be a hater. I can be a full hater, and I'm okay with that. I did get that out of it. So what are you gonna do?
So it's not really anti-capitalist. The workers aren't rebelling, and
no, because the person that
means of production. What are the means of production? The god?
That's the whole fucking thing. It's like, it was just talking about like how she has to go like work and earn extra money, but then the Minotaur that she falls in love with, like, he's the CEO of his own company. So I'm like, but he worked really hard to climb the ladder and get out of his small minotaur town. It's really stupid. It
Pull
was so
yourself up by your
dumb.
bootstraps.
No, literally.
So it's just
Pull yourself
liberal
up by your hooves.
propaganda.
Yeah, I was lied to. I was gaslit by
Yeah.
book threads.
The next book I read was Into the Wild by John Krakauer. This is a nonfiction book about a guy named Chris McCandless. He's a young man who graduated, I don't remember what college, but he was on track to go to, like, I want to say Harvard Law. But then instead of going to Harvard Law, he ends up donating his college fund, which is like $25,000 or something crazy, to like anti-hunger charity. And then he abandons, like, he burned all his money, like all his cash that he had. He abandoned his car, and then he like hitchhiked to Alaska, and then he was found dead in a bus a couple months later. And it's kind of investigating that story, which I think the overall sentiment of this book is well done, because it is kind of just talking about how the way that what people, like what your parents want for you and what other people in your life don't necessarily know what's best for you, or are forcing you to do stuff that you don't want to do. We're all individualistic people that have our own goals and mindset. That's great. But I do think this was a little bit disappointing, because I don't know. It was really weird because, like, John Krakauer himself, I read his other book, Into Thin Air. I really like that. But this one, he kind of has some more, uh, memory parts in it. Like, a whole section just about, like, his own personal, like, expedition that he did. And I just felt like that was unnecessary. Um, it was kind of frustrating in that sense, just because, like, I think you kind of go into this expecting it to be, like, super true crimey in a way, but it's honestly not that at all. So I think that's also where I was ended up being disappointed about, because I thought, like, there could have been something interesting, but it wasn't really that interesting. It was just sad.
I feel like if you like the first half of what Kristen was saying, Convenience Store Woman by Sayada Murata is kind of encapsulates that idea of like pushing back against what people want you to do. I think
I haven't
that
read it,
might
so
be, you might like it.
I can't compare it.
Maybe in the future. I think you're gonna eat it up. I don't know
I do
why.
have it.
I think that might be your lit fic. That
I
book.
do have it on my shelf.
We'll see someday. Okay, I don't know how to talk about this next book because I'm gonna be honest. It's a lot of things, but it is Black Skin, White Masks by France Fanon, and I gave it 4 stars. And the only reason I gave it 4 stars is because I feel like I only absorbed like maybe 60% of it, because it's like philosophy and psychology. I think that's what, because he does like psychoanalytics or something. I don't fucking know, man. It was great for the parts that I was able to extract, because he's talking about like the condition of like the colonized. And I feel like there's like elements of like colorism and like how people like integrate themselves, but then also are kind of like lying to themselves and like losing their identity with like their culture because of like colonialism. But then there's also like Marxist literary criticism where he's talking about like comics and books and how like different characters are presented and how authors write them. It's a lot. For how short it was a lot. I did like it, but I feel very stupid. It kind of reminds me when I was reading Orientalism and I just like could not get past a certain point. But I stuck it out because I love France Fanon.
So do you think this is in the future a reread?
100%,
Candidate?
because this is I feel like this is one of those books that you would read in like a 3 or 400 level like sociology class at like the university.
Is there any like videos online that are like people like analyzing it and stuff?
I don't know. I didn't look at it. I just finished this like a couple days ago, and I've been in a fever dream, so I haven't had a chance to look too far into it. I haven't even reviewed it for my book talk. So I don't know how to talk about it. Honestly, I don't know what to say, because I'm like, I loved it, but if you ask me any questions about it, I'm not going to be able to tell you anything.
See, and if you guys ever look at us and look at the podcast, like, wow, they know so much. No, we don't.
It's in here somewhere. I'm sure I might be able to unlock it, but it's just, I think, you know what, even if we were like I engaged with it a lot. Like even like Black Shirts and Reds, I've read it 3 times. I still can't like tell you it front to back, side to side. That's just
No.
like the essence. But I got the vibe, like the gist of what was being presented. That's all I need right now.
No. Because you can always go back and reread. Like, rereading is a great tool to have.
Isn't that exactly with
the book is there.
nonfiction books? You should.
I think you can reread fiction books too if you want. The next book I read, or technically we read, is A Short Stay in Hell by Stephen L. Peck. This is a short little philosophical read about a Mormon man who is sent to hell, and the only way to leave hell is by finding a book that is accurately describing his life. However, the place that he's in, his hell, is the Library of Babel. So it has every single book ever written, could be ever written, ever thought of in existence. So you have complete gibberish being a good chunk of the books, while also having War and Peace is also in this library somewhere. And you have to find the one that is accurately describing your life to leave. We did do a full review of this on the podcast. I give this 4 stars. I really liked it. Comparing to other stuff that we've read on the podcast, like The Unworthy or I Who Have Never Known Men, this one does have more of a plot for you to sink your teeth into. It's not like it's character focused, but I do think, and Mariah, you can correct me if you disagree, but I do think there's a little bit more going on the outside besides just following our main character, which I appreciate more.
Yeah, because a lot of like lit fic, you're kind of just like you're placed somewhere and you're just supposed to experience a journey. This, like, you have a destination.
Yes, you have a goal,
and I think that's what makes it really
that.
Interesting. So I think this one is one of those ones I would probably recommend before the other ones, because I think this could like get you to understand kind of what they're going to be, and kind of maybe be comfortable with not having a super satisfying ending, because that's just the nature of literary fiction. Is I don't feel like anything is ever fully closed.
Yeah,
I don't know,
depending on the ones you read, but I do think this one's well done, where yes, it does not have a full like fleshed out satisfying ending, like it's not and everybody lived happily ever after, ha 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 sort of vibe, but it is satisfying in that you do get a conclusion. And it's also like, I don't know if you felt, it's like vaguely like hopeful in a way too. Like,
I felt very desolate.
I don't know, I felt like,
I was like, damn, like, this sucks.
One of those things that I feel like it reminds you that like everybody kind of is suffering in the same way, you know,
mutually,
like we all suffer together.
Assured suffering. And you know what was suffering? Treasure Island by Robert Louis Stevenson, which I finally finished. I lost that fucking book in my house, couldn't find it, fell behind a couch, and then at the beginning,
for a month.
Starts off good. I gave it 2 stars. It's about a boy who lives with his mom at this like bed and breakfast, and like this guy with like a peg leg, he just like lives there, and like they knew there's something going on with him, because it's like, why are you here so much? And then this other pirate comes in, and it's like Blackbeard. He's like shoots him, and they run him off, and he's like, go take the map to me treasure. And then he's like goes on this adventure, but it reads so much like a classic, and I was expecting so much more. Honestly, the only like the 2 stars is I learned where the origins of like Long John Silver came from, and it was from this book. I had no idea. Yeah, Long John Silver.
I didn't even know it was like a character. I thought that was just like a silly little name.
No, I was like, oh my god, that's where it came from. One Piece is better. If you want a pirate story, One Piece is better.
Which Mariah,
that's all I have to say. I like classics too, but this was just, it was a snooze fest. Like, and it's very short. It's like less than 200 pages, and I was like, I hate this, and I don't know why.
Do you think it missing for a month affected your enjoyment of it?
Maybe, but even then, I tried.
She didn't even look for it that hard for the month. That's how bad it was.
I was like, oh, it's gone. Well, I'm not going to get into why it was missing. I don't even know why. I think it was the universe telling me to DNF it.
The last and final book that I have read for the month of January is The Tainted Cup by Robert Jackson Bennett, which this is like a Lovecraftian monster book kind of, and there's like Lovecraftian monsters, like Titan sort of things, living in like the oceans at the edge of this world, and it has really unique like plant magic, and it's basically you're just following Din, which is just like an apprentice to this really, like, I wouldn't say like celebrity like investigator, but basically like basically imagine like Sherlock Holmes. It's kind of like Sherlock and Watson if like Watson was like a recently college graduate like boy that is still very juvenile, and Sherlock is an autistic woman. That's kind of like the vibe, which it sounds so cool. And that's what's so incredibly frustrating about this book, because I gave it 3.25 stars and I wanted to like it, but I just could not get into it. I don't know why. I literally did not care about like the murder mystery, and the magic system was really interesting, but I couldn't like absorb it. Um I don't know if it was the writing style, or I kind of feel like this is just me. I haven't seen any other Marxists review it, so I need like another Marxist perspective on it. It feels super liberal coded to me, because like there is a lot of critiques. I don't know. It's really confusing because they have like an empire aspect of it, but they the way that they talk about the empire, there's like a rich family that's kind of like corrupted, and they like have all this money and they kind of control the empire, but then also like they act as if it's not the fault of an empire to me. I don't know. It's really confusing. Like, I really need somebody else to explain it. It's hard for me to explain it without trying to spoil it, because I don't want to say anything. If you guys do want to read it, and if you do read it, please message me about it and talk to me about it, because I'm still so undecided on my review. Like, I feel like I could reread it next week and love it. It could just be like wrong time, wrong place reading this.
Maybe it's just bad. You should just trust your gut.
I don't know though. That's one thing. Like, I feel like it's got so many good reviews. Like, so many good reviews. It's over 4 stars on Goodreads. And usually if a book has over 4 stars, typically it's good. Not always. But I just need another Marxist perspective. I don't want another liberal's perspective. I want a specifically a Marxist perspective, and I don't know, none of my like real like Marxist mutuals have read it. Just like random
Maybe we
people I
can
follow.
message some people. I feel like, hey, I need you to read this real quick.
It's not real quick. It took me forever to read it. It took me like 2 weeks.
Oh. Well, I have it
I,
requested on my library, but
it's not that
I don't
long.
know,
It's
man.
only, I think the book was only, it was less than 500 pages for fantasy. I feel like that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's not bad. I don't know. I don't know, man. I'll do it for you, though.
I can't form a solid opinion on it. Sorry. That's my be all. If you read it, really talk to me about it. Comment below.
Kristen isn't saying that for engagement. Like,
I'll
genuinely
literally reply to you.
has been texting me, being like, I need you to read this. And I
Like,
was like,
I'm
okay, I got
done.
like an 8-week wait on the library, and I just know that
See,
your brain was like short circuiting.
8 week wait. If a book has that long of a wait, that usually means it's pretty good, right? Because it's pretty popular.
Yeah, and I have several library cards, and that was the shortest wait time. Because I think one had like 13
Yeah. See, people
weeks.
want to read it.
I don't know, man. It's weird.
I don't
It's
know.
weird.
The third one's supposed to be coming out, and I'm still undecided on whether or not I read the second one. I think I'm going to wait for Mariah to read the first one, and then we discuss, and then that'll influence. Because I read the back of the second one whenever I was book shopping the other day. I was like, okay, this seems interesting, but I don't know if it's like Stockholm syndrome at this point, where I'm just like, I know these characters well enough, the world well enough, that I could read another story about it.
See, that was like me with Flock. I just had to see it through. And once I read the one, I was like, I just gotta go all the way in. And even if it's shit, like at least
But
you can
Flock is
say, like you can be
bad.
a full hate. Yeah,
I
I
think this is
know.
well written. It is very well written. Like, there's no qualms about the writing. Like, I'm not reading this. I'm like, this is dog. I don't know. This is like, I have not been this like confused about my own ranking of a book. Like,
Which I find
in
interesting
forever.
because you're usually pretty like staunch. Like you finish a book and you're like, this is what it is. Period. And you very
Yes.
seldom deliberate on it. I'll read it. It's gonna come in when it comes in, and then
If
I'll suffer
anything, we
through
could
it
probably make
for
a
you.
episode about it. You
Yeah,
know,
gotta
and it might be
monopolize
popular.
and profit. Profit. I don't make any money off this shit. Oh, I finished Space for Love, Change Pace by Emily Antoinette. This is another alien romance book. Surprise! I'm trying, okay? All my other authors, I don't have anything else out. This one was recommended to me by literally Moody on Bookstagram, which I love her, and she loves it. And you know what? She was pretty right. Like, this is really cute. I give it 3 stars. About a human that gets a job at Spire. Like it's kind of like, I think it's like space opera vibes, like where all of the alien species kind of like intermingle. And she's falling in love with like this alien she can't see because she goes to like this place where it's like a hologram and he's like working behind it, but he doesn't want to like show her his face because he's worried that she wouldn't be attracted to him.
He's ugly.
Because like that's what he's convinced is like he's ugly, and then she's plus size. It's very like diverse. I was very impressed with like the queer representation where it feels very genuine. It doesn't feel forced. You know, like sometimes I'll read a book, like a romance book, and there'll be like a queer character in it, and it feels like somebody decided to do that so they could have that in the review. Like, oh my god, look, there's like gay characters. Like it's not like this felt authentic. This felt like it made sense. Which
like
I really
capitalize
enjoy.
Off of it.
I don't know how to explain that. Like I hate when people like will just like do something for a character and it doesn't really like make any sense for the plot or their characterization. It kind of feels like they're like tokenizing them. Mm-hmm. And this didn't feel like that. And it was really lovely. I thought it was nice. I mean, I don't think any of these alien romance books are really like
groundbreaking,
blowing me away. But it's like I've fallen asleep while reading and it's cute. So I'll read the next one and see how it is. But I liked it. I was like, okay, I can get down with this. It's nice. And it has that good, like, futuristic alien vibe, which I didn't have in the previous alien book I read. And then I think I'm up, lastly. One Piece. I have to read a couple more before the end of the month because I think I'm set at a pace of, like, 10 of them per month. So far I've read 12 through 18. And right now, Luffy and his crew are in Alabasta. We made it there. I am so curious. One, the characters in this are so interesting. They were written like the 2000s. It's a very diverse cast of characters already. Chopper, Tony Chopper has a really like devastating, got me like tearjerker background. But then also there's like gender non-conforming characters already. I was like, this was written in 2000? Dang. It's crazy. And then it's talking about like the rebels and revolutionaries. And one of the revolutionaries is modeled after Che Guevara. So now I'm really I don't know what's going to happen, and all of the women are hot. I love them. I can't stop.
No knowledge of One Piece, like at all. I never even watched like the live action whenever that was all over Netflix. So
I started watching it. My brother, when he was in high school, or maybe middle school. I was in high school. He was in middle school. He spent like a summer and he watched all of One Piece and plays Civ. I think it was Civ 5. Yeah. So he had like dual screen. They had One Piece going because there's so much One Piece. Like it's been going on since the 90s and it's still going on today. It's one of the longest running like animes I think of all time, aside from like maybe Dragon Ball.
Longest.
No, I don't think so. Because like Gundam and stuff has, but there's a lot, and there's a huge cult following, and I think it's so interesting how like at a lot of like anti-ICE and pro-Palestine protests, somebody's always flying the Jolly Roger flag or whatever that Luffy has, and I think it's so interesting, and that really like piqued my interest this year. So I was like, I'm just gonna read it all. Why not? And it's just nice. It's a really silly, goofy time. It's like the perfect pirate story. I'm sorry, I think it just set the bar too high. So when I was reading Treasure Island, I was just like, well, where's Luffy? Where's Sanji? Where's Nami?
No, there's no fun. Anti-capitalist or like revolutionary in any sense?
No. There's just like, it was like a nothing burger. I get it's a kid's story, but I feel like I got a lot more out of like, even the abridged version of Moby Dick. I feel like I could see a lot more out of Dostoevsky and like Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. Like I've been going through all of these and they all have so much more going for them, but this was just like, but like Treasure Island was nothing. Whereas One Piece, every single volume, there's something, which I just enjoy. But that's where I'm at right now. And I'm currently reading, I'm going to read the last couple, I think I have like 3 that I'm going to try to read before the end of the month. So in the next 30 hours. Which is possible. It's very possible. I will do it.
You have 30 hours. I don't have 30 hours. You have to remember I'm 3 hours.
I don't even know if it's 30 hours. It's 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time when we're recording
it's
this.
7 here.
I'm not doing math. I'm sorry. I have this vocal fry that sounds like I'm trying to be like, hide my conservatism and talk about perfume on the internet type vibe and act like I'm bored and talk about classics. But it's just influenza. Got the plague.
Speaking of, I am only currently reading classics right now, and it is also a children's book, technically. I am reading The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien. I started that today. It's cute so far. I pretty much only read like the first chapter and a half, and if you don't know what The Hobbit is, it's just basically about Bilbo Baggins. He wants to not go adventuring, he wants to stay home and eat his second dinner, and Gandalf and all of the other dwarves that show up are making him. I guess from my understanding, it's like Smaug like took all their treasure and like genocided the dwarves, and so then now they're basically coming to show him who's boss.
Yeah, Smaug literally like exploited them. Like he just robbed them blind, and he's like,
Yeah.
nah.
Well,
It's a
and I know
really fun
some of them
book.
died too. So that's where I'm at in The Hobbit. And then I'm also reading Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte because the movie is coming out next month. And this is about some dude who goes over to his landlord's house and then gets snowed in there. And then he ends up finding, like, not like a diary, but like some stuff about like the owner of the manor, which is Heathcliff. And then about his ex wife partner relationship. You don't really know. He's just trying to get the tea on what happened between them because apparently it was a lot of drama. And I am hating Wuthering Heights right now, just so you know.
Damn, that's a hot take.
I'm like 80 pages in and it's so boring. It's like the most classic written classic. I didn't even realize the perspective because I'm tandem reading it with the audiobook, and so I just assumed since Amy Lou Reed is reading the audiobook that I thought we were in a woman's perspective, but we are not.
How interesting.
Isn't that weird?
I haven't started yet. I'm gonna read it before I watch the movie, so it's gonna be up.
And then you'll
once
never
I
go see the
start feeling
movie.
better.
So
Hey, I have a lot of plans. As long as I stay healthy, I got a lot of stuff going on next month. All right, I know. I'm trying to like leave my prospects open because next month is my 30th birthday, and I'm going on a little thriftcation, and I'm going to try to thrift a bunch of books. So I need to buy a new bookshelf. That's my goal. That's my February goal. Is I don't really have a huge timeline. I know we're gonna review the Jeanette McCurdy book, which is Half His Age. We plan on reviewing Matt Dinniman's Project Hail Mary. No, I'm just kidding. It's
Nope.
Operation Bounce House, which there's some drama surrounding Matt Dinniman right now. So we'll talk about that more
in that episode.
And then the last thing is our book club, which we are reading Kindred by Octavia E. Butler. So if you'd like to join us for February, that's kind of like what we have going on. If you want to read along so you're caught up and you can listen to our thoughts and feelings, our vibes, whatever. That's what we're doing. Hopefully we're all healthy. Take your vitamins.
Yes, and if you've listened this far, don't forget to like and the video and comment below or subscribe if you haven't already and hit that bell. Oh my gosh. Sorry.
Penny is making a cameo and has decided that it's time to snuggle, which
yeah. She's being a cuddle bug right now. So yeah, you're on any of those sites, you can do all of those things. I don't know. Is there anything else to say?
I don't think so. If you hear any jumping around in the background, it's my kid. So, and that's the perfect time to wrap everything up. I can't think of anything, but if there is any books that people want us to read and review, just let us know and we can work on it. We've been kind of trying to figure out what's going on in our quarter two. So that's pretty open right now. Let us know if there's any new books that are coming up that we should keep an eye on. I don't know. I feel like I'm drying this out. Thank you, and good night. Hold on.